So, today we're tackling a really big question, one that's popping up all over the place. How do you build a modern data economy that doesn't just attract the smartest people, but actually gets them to stick around and contribute for the long haul?
All right, let's just jump right in with the big question from our source material. Who are the people that actually build a data economy? And, more importantly, what's in it for them to stay? It's pretty easy to get someone to do a quick task, right? But getting that real long-term commitment, well, that's the billion-dollar problem we're talking about. To find the right answer, you've got to start by understanding the problem. And the villain in this story really is the old way of doing things, the simple paper task system. It's a model that, as we'll see, just completely fails to motivate the kind of deep experts you absolutely need.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way, one-off fees. You do a job, you get paid once, and that's it. The whole exchange is over. But on the right, that's the new way, and it's all about compounding value. It's not about a single transaction, it's about turning your hard work into an actual asset that can grow and pay you back over and over again.
So to really get how this works, we're going to meet the four key players in this new data economy. Think of them as the four essential characters you need to make this whole thing work. First up, we have the domain expert. Now, these are your doctors, your lawyers, your PhD scientists. We're talking people with decades of super specialized knowledge. They are the bedrock, the source of that high-quality, nuanced info that you just can't find anywhere else. And here is the absolute key to understanding them. These experts are not just in it for a quick paycheck. Like the source says, they value impact, attribution, and outcomes. What does that mean? It means they want to see their knowledge actually make a difference, and they want the credit for it. It all comes down to professional pride. So how do you actually align with those values? Well, you give them what they truly want. For that professional pride, you give them public recognition. For their desire to have an impact, you give them recurring royalties, so they get a piece of the value their knowledge creates. And for attribution, you give them real, honest-to-goodness ownership. You turn their contribution into their asset. All right, let's move on to our next profile, the senior analyst and curator. Now, these are the folks who are refining, organizing, and, crucially, maintaining the data. They're the ones making sure it stays high quality and useful over time. It's really detailed, ongoing work. And their motivation? It's captured perfectly right here. Senior analysts and curators look for compounding returns on quality. See, they don't want to just clean up a dataset one time and walk away. They want their ongoing effort, their commitment to quality to be recognized and to actually build in value as that dataset gets more and more successful.
And here's how you do it. Here's how you turn that maintenance work into a real asset. You line up the incentives. They want compounding returns? Great, give them a revenue share from the data's usage. They care deeply about quality? You create a stake-backed reputation where they literally have skin in the game. Their good name becomes a tangible, valuable thing. Now for our third group, the community validators. Okay, these are the unsung heroes of quality control. Seriously, they're the ones in the background checking the work, flagging mistakes, and making sure all the data is accurate. It's absolutely essential, and honestly, it's often thankless work.
The biggest problem they face is summed up perfectly in this quote. They're doing critical QA work without trust or upside. Just think about that for a second. There's often no way to prove their work is any good, and there's no financial reason for them to be extra diligent. It's just a broken system. But here's the fix. The no trust problem? You solve that with staking as confidence, where validators literally put their own money on the line to back up their judgment. The no upside problem gets fixed with rewarded verification. You get paid for being right. And no visibility is replaced with accountable, public work. All of a sudden, validation isn't some thankless chore. It's a respected, rewarded, and really important role. Okay, on to our final profile, the tooling partner. These are the developers, the companies building the actual infrastructure, the indexing services, the APIs, the core technology that makes the whole data economy even possible. But they have this classic problem, which the source points out. Tooling partners usually miss downstream value. It's like they build the highway, but they don't get any share of the massive commerce that happens on top of it. They get paid a one-time fee, and that's it, even if their tool goes on to enable billions in value down the road. So the solution is to just flip that whole dynamic on its head. Instead of missing out on all that value, their upside scales directly with usage. And instead of having to constantly renegotiate painful contracts,
You use things like programmatic royalties and something called a TNP-NL. It sounds complicated, but it's basically just an automated, unbreakable contract that guarantees them a slice of the profits forever. So we've met 4 very different groups of people, right? Each one with their own unique frustrations and what they're looking for. But what's the common thread here? Well, it turns out there's a single, powerful motivation that ties every single one of them together. It all comes down to these 3 pillars. This is the secret sauce for getting people to contribute for the long haul. First, ownership, that powerful feeling that my contribution is my asset. Second, reputation, knowing that my work is seen and it's valued. And third, compounding upside, the simple but amazing idea that as the whole system wins, I win too. It's an incredibly powerful combo. And when you put these 3 pillars together, you get something, well, something kind of revolutionary. We are talking about a fundamental shift in how we think about work. We're redefining contribution itself and turning your expertise from just a service you sell by the hour into a true asset that you own and can grow over time. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with, a question that gets right to the heart of why this all matters so much. What if your work, your knowledge, your skill, your dedication, what if it could pay you forever? Because that's the future this new model is trying to build.